bridge. That is not a creek, that's a river. I don't know how you'd come out to a place like this and not find something interesting. Even if it's a corpse. Find one of the Hatfields and the McCoys, or a big mining helmet. One of those lanterns with oil. Something crazy. Alright, so we're here. There's an absolute real outhouse. That's killer. A can crusher attached to an old with a skull. Right there. Hopefully you can see it. I don't know where this GoPro's pointed. But don't even really know how old this property is. But we're gonna find something. Down here, got a creek. There's some moles out here too. I just stepped on some mole trails. There's a hose running down. Is this your pit where you burn everything? Wow. All right. All right. So we just started hunting out here. We had our first surface find. Thought I would show everybody. I'm excited about it. Means there might be some that aren't empty inside. Get back to you when I find anything else. Alright, well, my partner in crime's over there digging something. I'm just taking off my sweatshirt. Middle of January, we're getting attacked by bees. And it's hot. I don't know what the hell's going on. Alright, so this is the first decent signal we've got since we've been here. Maybe. So I'll dig this one live. No. Actually, I won't. I think this is a power line. Look at this. Yeah, it's like it never ends. It goes straight back this way. It's gotta be cable or phone or something. Alright, I'm back. Got a decent signal. Gonna dig it live. See what we get. My first live dig ever for YouTube. A little afraid I'm gonna get electrocuted or something, because I almost dug up the cable line here a minute ago, so we'll see. Alright, the plug out, and true to form, I can't find the signal. Alright, it's in the plug. Let's see what we got. Got some worms. Everybody likes worms. Big fat pile of nothing now. Let's see. Alright. It's clearly in that plug. The heck? Now my pinpointer's not working. Back to you in a second. Alright, I got my pinpointer working again. And I found signal. It's in the plug. Not real hopeful based on how shallow it is. We shall see. It's a magnetic worm. Yeah, looks like a wadded up piece of foil. Alright. Thanks for trying. Get back to you if I find anything else. So I'm following this old gravel path, which was apparently the original driveway for the original house that was on this property. It was tore down and replaced with this newer one, this cabin in the 60s sometime. So my thought is, if this has always been the driveway, there's a chance that some drunk dumped their change on their way out of the car one day. So I'll keep digging these signals and see what happens. I'll get back to you here if I find something. Alright, so dug this plug and there's something gold colored sticking out of it. I don't have my hopes up too high that it's gold. It looks to me like it's something that's just gold colored, like a beer cap or something of the like, but I don't know, it's got a strange shape to it. Let me get my glove off here and see what I can see. Really just looks like foil. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Yep, just more gold cover foil. Alright, get back to you if I find anything else. Alright, I got something. Penny signal, maybe a dime, but I'd be happy if it was either. It's real close to the surface, so let's see if we can get this out, see what it is. Oh, there it is. And what do you suppose it is? What do we got here? Got the bottom of some kind of can. Oh my. Looks like the bottom of maybe like a Red Bull can or something, but it certainly isn't old. It's got a date of 2005 on it. The excitement commence. Get back to you if I find anything else. Alright, so we got a signal here that looks good. It's only 4 inches deep. It's jumping around 80s and 90s, down to the 70s a little bit. It's a little erratic, but we'll dig it up, see what it is. Get back to you when I figure this out. Well, dug up the plug. Saw the rust color. Figured I wasn't gonna be too excited about it, so let's see what it is. Looks like it might be a battery or something. Warning on the label. That's always good. Warning, this can something. Well, whatever it is, it's undesirable. It's probably more, it looks like it's more the gold foil of that other piece I found earlier. Not that far away, it certainly could be. Alright, I'll get back to you if I find anything else. Alright everybody, here it is, my first wrap up. This is from the dig in West Virginia that you guys just watched some clips from. Clearly my camera died. This is the first time I ever used my new GoPro. First time I ever tried to video myself doing any digs. So it's kind of a cluster, but I'll get you through this wrap up. You see what we got. We dug quite a few targets out there, and you'll see it's an absurd number of targets, but we were convinced we were going to find something worth it, so we kept going. All right, so I'll start with this stuff. This is the stuff everybody's familiar with, the aluminum cans and the bits of aluminum and aluminum siding chunks and whatever, just all the random stuff that everybody always sees. I didn't bother to bust it out of this bag and lay it all out for everybody because it's just garbage. And as I go through this wrap up, I'm going to go from least interesting to most interesting, at least I hope. So then below that you have fasteners. So you see there's a lot of different washers and nuts and nails. We dug a ton of nails, a handful of washers and screws. It's in a Halloween bag, that's what the orange thing is behind it, but I didn't bother to bust that out of the bag either. Nobody cares to see the different nails. There are no square nails or anything old. It's all pretty modern stuff from when the cabin I think was built, in the most part. So, all right. So now we get to some of the old faithful stuff, right? Pull tabs and caps. So we found our share of those. Probably not as many as you might find if you spend a day on the beach or some public park, but we found a bunch. Let's see, looks like we found 2, 4, 6 of the old style, one with the actual thing still attached to it. 3 caps, 4 of the new style pull tabs, and 1 of the little tongues. So we had our share of those, not as many as you might typically see. Below that, some big stuff, big chunk of iron, no idea what that went to. And then this here, this big plumbing fitting, been on the ground a little while, humongous. An old can opener, not real old, modern of course, but old enough that it's been rusted up. Now, a couple of more interesting things. So a dog collar. So when I dug this up, I got a little alarmed because I thought, oh God, am I going to dig up a bunch of bones with this? But luckily, no, just a collar. I didn't dig any deeper though. It wasn't like I was getting ambitious trying to find a corpse or a skeleton. Although I think there was a little clip in the video on the way out there where I joked about finding a corpse. So finding this was a little I guess a little predestined, but luckily no body to go with it. Some interesting other stuff, mostly surface finds. Some Halloween decorations from the last time they were out there for Halloween. A balancing weight for a tire. I think that was from the tractor. And then, you know, this was already broken and buried. We didn't break any power lines or anything in the course of digging, but this is something we dug up. So, you know, this was an old camp with a newer cottage on it, or newer cabin. But as you might imagine, out in a camp in West Virginia, they do a lot of firing of guns. So, you know, we weren't surprised when we found all this, but we did find quite a few empty casings and shotgun stamps, and then even some bullets themselves. That I think is a piece of buckshot right there, and then maybe a 45 and a 22. I'm not a big connoisseur of ammunition, but you know, we dug a pile of that stuff, and each one of these comes up with a signal that makes you believe it's a little better than what it ends up being. But you know, we were out there to dig everything. We were convinced we were going to find something, so we kept on going. We powered through, dug up a lot of this, as you can see. All right, so the last two sets of items that I'm going to show you, I consider to be the most interesting. So here we have the non-monetary items that I consider to be the most interesting. One thing I didn't say was that outside of the camp, we did stop at Rebecca's sister's house, and she had a house that was built somewhere in the early 1900s, I think 1910 or so. So we poked around in her yard for a little bit, half hour, and that was where we found this old copper hose adapter, whatever you call that, spigot. Well, that was pretty cool because you can see it's clearly a very, very old one. I have no idea what time frame it's from. I wasn't able to find any manufacturing information or copyright or trademark or anything on it, but you can see it's greening up a little bit, and it's clearly copper, so that's interesting. I'm not going to talk about that yet. This is looks to be an old clasp from maybe some suspenders. We found that out at the cabin. We also found this spoon out at the cabin. It's I guess it's potentially could be silver plated, but I didn't really look into that too much yet. Not really that excited or worried about it. This one was interesting. It's apparently aluminum, and it's not quite at a right angle, but I think that's because it was bent over time. I think it's just a piece of construction material, but originally when I first got it out and it was all dirty, it looked to me like it might have been part of a military medal or something because of the shape, but I don't think that's the case. I think it's just construction material. Now this was really interesting. My partner in crime dug this up, and she didn't even show it to me. I didn't know it was there. We were looking at all of our things, and then I went out on the porch of the cabin, and this was sitting on the table. and it was all still full of mud. And so I poked it all, the mud ad, and got it all out of there. And I took a look at it, and I realized what it was. And I brought it inside, and I asked her if she had dug it up. She's like, "Yeah, I don't know what it is, just a big chunk of metal." But it's a lot cooler than that. It's actually a really, really old animal trap. You know, like the ones they use in the cartoons where they pull the bear trap open, and then, you know, it gets clamped down on whoever. It's a much smaller one. It's clearly not for a bear, but it's pretty interesting. I don't know how old it is, but it's been buried for quite a while because it's rusted shut. You can't get it open. But I thought that was pretty cool. It was kind of a nice surprise for me because I didn't even know she dug it until after we had already got everything together and I didn't see it in there. All right, so then change. You know, you're hoping for some good coins whenever you dig anywhere, or some jewelry. Before you see this and get all excited sitting there, it's not a ring. I thought it might have been a ring when I dug it up, so that's why I put it down here, because it has a little bit of a funny story to it. But I dug it up, and we had been digging all day long, finding mostly bullets and fasteners and random other big chunks of just, you know, kind of garbage. And thinking, well, you know, we spent the whole day, we learned a lot about digging, because, you know, I'm pretty new to this. But and then this popped up, and when it popped up, came out of the plug. It was sitting on its side, and a little bit angled like this, so I could see that it went from thin to thick, which to me looked like it might have been a ring. So you can imagine, covered in mud, it's not as clear that it's actually just a piece of aluminum pipe. But got a little bit excited for a minute, then I realized what it was. So that's that. I'll just set that up here, but I wanted to note it. So we got a quarter, 5 modern dimes. They're older, but they're not silver or anything. Same with the nickel. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 memorial pennies. And then we did dig some wheat pennies. And interestingly enough, we dug 3 wheat pennies. This one we got a good laugh out of, because these were kind of the highlights of the day, digging a 1915 and a 1920 Wheatie. The 56 was nice too. This is actually the first one that we dug. I dug this one literally right after the camera died. We had been digging for a little while. I filmed a few of my digs and a few of my targets, and they weren't very exciting. And this was the next target after the camera died, so I finally thought that was ironic. But what's more ironic is that we spend an entire day from, you know, beginning to end digging up all this trash, and we get excited about our wheat pennies. Now, what's really nice, just before I get to the end of the story, some of these have some really nice green patina to them. The really older ones, the 15 and the 20, which I thought is really pretty. So I might clean the dirt off of them, but I'm not going to do anything to try to clean them up any more than that. I like the green color. But we're happy about our 3 wheat pennies. Then we go through McDonald's on the way home, and we get our change. And, you know, of course, you look at your change, and sure enough, boom, we get another wheat penny, a 1945. So we chuckled about that. Like, you know, we spent an entire day digging to find 3 wheat pennies. All we had to do was keep going through McDonald's drive-thru. We could have got as many wheat pennies as we wanted. So that was it. You know, we headed home and laughed about our final find, courtesy of McDonald's. All right, guys, so that's the wrap up. Hopefully, as I continue to do this, my wrap ups get a little, maybe shorter. This looks like it's 10 minutes long already, but a little more exciting too. Maybe some jewelry, some interesting things like that. All right, thanks for bearing with me, and hopefully I'll get my next hunt done and my next video out soon.